Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ellyn with a Y goes live Tuesdays at 10. This is our 10th episode. I cannot believe we've been doing this for 10 weeks now. I am having the best time, and I'm really appreciative of everybody who is watching this. If you haven't noticed, I got a haircut. It's a pretty significant cut or chop if you have seen my hair. I'm so excited, I love it. So I'm debuting it to everyone on the show. I can't believe we've been doing this for 10 weeks now. It's been really fun and it's been a really fulfilling experience. And I think for a special episode, for a 10th episode, because of a slight booking snafu, I will be the guest. So I'm really excited to be your guest and tell you a little bit more about me and why I do the show. So it's a little bit more of a relaxed vibe for the show today, which I'm excited about. But this would not be Ellyn with a Y goes live if we did not kick it off with hot topics. And the biggest hot topic of all is Yeaster. So Kanye performed at Coachella Sunday service with his, battalion of church members and crew with him. There is a lot to unpack. There's just so many different angles and so much going on. So first of all, people are calling it Yeaster, which I think is really funny, as in like Kanye Yeaster. Chance the Rapper, Kid Cudi, DMX, Tiana Taylor. There was an immense amount of talent that joined Kanye on his mountain, which he constructed himself in a circle format. So I'm just gonna cut to this photo really quick so that you can see what we saw. So I think circles were really important and really big for Kanye. I have a feeling that there is like some larger circle of life moment or statement he's trying to make, because the performers were in a circle around him, and then the observers, people who were watching, the ticket holders, there was 50,000 people that got to go to this event through Coachella. And then if you can see, there's also like some free walking people. I'm not sure if those are just friends of Kanye or like VIP section, but this is quite the view they gave us. It looks like we're looking through a pinhole, or we're looking at it as if we're in outer space and we're looking at Earth. I'm not sure. Circles are important for this. Kim was also wearing some kind of circular, jewelry, but it was like very circle based. It definitely gave off some kind of a vibe. I know everyone's like very reticent to say like it's a cult. People are using that term a little bit much, but there are some very cult-like things going on. I'm not sure there. Okay, so here is his church merch, which I don't know. Is this capitalism? Is he like cashing in on the fact that it's kind of like a tour, and so he's got his like church clothes booth, and then there's all this church merch like Trust God and Holy Spirit, but they're for sale for like $165 for a crew sweatshirt, and then like church socks are $50. I'm hoping that he is donating the money that he's making off of this, or maybe redistributing it to all the performers that performed with him. I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not his accountant or anything of the like, but I just feel as though if you're going to go out and position this as like a spiritual experience and like it's kind of like a version of his cleansing of some kind, I would just really hope that there's some kind of like community benefiting. Even like, is he sending money back to Chicago for the neighborhood, for Donda's house? I'm hoping that it's not just him making a paycheck off of this merch. That would be pretty disappointing. I was reading some articles about people really being dissatisfied with the experience. They were saying that it seemed unorganized and it seemed almost as if like thrown together, and he was almost reticent to perform his own songs, probably because his songs are not exactly like church safe songs. I don't know. I guess people that saw him perform at Coachella many years ago said it was a very big, beautiful experience, and now this, not so much. I think that this whole thing is a little bit strange. I will say that I've been saying for a while that I think that this is part of like the Kanye West apology tour sponsored by Kris Jenner. It is the perfect PR vehicle to get him back in the public eye. Effectively, we were all like, Kanye, your rant on TMZ, we're done with you. But here he is opening Coachella. I also have a theory that perhaps the reason he's so visible on the Kardashians this season, now this is a real conspiracy theory, maybe Kim is sowing the seeds of a future divorce, and the only way that she can have our culture, our society, not be mad at her for divorcing him when he's clearly going through a struggle with his mental health. They might be showing him so that when a year from now, when everyone's like, oh my God, why are you divorcing Kanye? There's a year's worth of the show to prove like he was making decisions kind of haphazardly, and he was trying to move the whole family to Chicago and like not even considering the kids' school schedule. I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory, and I really don't even want to speak that into existence because I really don't want them to get divorced. I would love for them to stay together, but he just never would go on the show before. You know, he was too cool for it, and now he's on the show, and it seems like a huge departure from something he would normally do. I would love to see what Kanye actually thought of the performance. Maybe we'll get that behind the scenes in the next season of The Kardashians. Who can say? So that is kind of like the whole take on the Kanye West Yeaster Sunday performance. And then in a little bit of sad news, I'm sad to report this, that Adele is actually splitting up from her husband Simon Konecki. It's really sad, and I just feel like, I mean, good for the music. I feel like maybe we'll get a good album out of it. I don't know. If you're that good of a singer-songwriter, maybe you're supposed to continuously go through heartbreak because you have to then write songs that help you process it, but then also help the rest of us. Yeah, I mean, I feel really bad, but out of like great tragedy comes great art most times with these like artists and singers and stuff. And so, I mean, you know, hopefully she can get back in the studio quickly now that she's got some free time. I don't know. I hope the best for her. I just know that she like writes music that really speaks to me. And so if you have to go through a lot of different relationships to pull and extract out the art, then I'm okay. I'm here for it. So that is our Hot Topics segment. Moving into what to watch, I want to highlight a show that I really, really love. It's called Atypical. It's on Netflix. It is a comedy about this boy, Sam, who is like on the autism spectrum. The show like kicks off with him deciding that it's time for him to be in a relationship. And so in order to do so, he kind of needs to gain some more independence. I really, really love the show. It is very funny. It is very heartfelt, and the acting is incredible. I just saw some news that in season 3, Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne is going to become a season regular. It's a really good show. I could not speak more highly of it. So Atypical on Netflix, binge it. It is funny and it is quick and it is uplifting. And now that moves us into our food for thought segment of the show. I was talking on the phone with my mom about this situation. Long story short, I had to serve on jury duty, and I was one of the people who, like, you know, when you talk to your friends and family and they are like, yeah, I went in, nothing happened, they just kind of released us, I just kind of spent the day there. That's generally the story I had heard from everyone I've ever talked to about jury duty. But there's always another side of the story, right? So if you didn't get picked, somebody else got picked, right? So I had to go back the next day because they were like done selecting the jury. The judge was like, okay, I'm done. And the lawyer's like, okay, everyone that's still here, come back tomorrow at 10. I'm like, when was my opportunity to say like, hey, I can't do this, I don't want to, I have a like corrupt sense of moral justice or something. Like I literally, I'm pretty sure my mouth drops to the floor. So I leave, it's like 4:30, I have to go to work, I have a massive presentation, and I'm like freaking out in the streets of New York, walking back to work. And I'm on the phone with my mom, actually having a panic attack, crying, because I have this huge presentation I have to get done at work. Sometimes I think you just get so overwhelmed that you just freak out. And I genuinely freaked out, crying on the streets of New York. I had a D-list celebrity sighting mid-cry, and I saw Jason Hoppy, who was married to Bethany Frankel. And if those of you who are Housewife fans, you know that they're involved in serious legal battles because of their divorce. And I literally saw him coming out of the courthouse when they were going through their litigation, because I read an article about it on the Daily Mail the next day. So I'm like mid-hysterical, bawling my eyes out, cry, staring at Jason Hoppy. I'm on the phone with my mom crying hysterically. And I realized as I was, having a conversation with my mom today, weeks later, that's not the first time I've cried in the streets in New York. And I wear it as a badge of honor. It's the second time in 4 years of living in New York and in 6 years of working in the city. Are you really in the hustle if you haven't cried on a street corner in New York? I feel like everyone to some extent can relate to having some kind of a freak out. New York can be very isolating because there's so many people that you're kind of like invisible to each other when you're walking, that like the idea of crying on the street, like it doesn't feel as weird as I think it might feel elsewhere, because we all like walk past each other and don't even really acknowledge each other's passing in existence. So you could be hysterically crying walking on the street. No one's really gonna say anything. Oh wait, did I cry that time? No, I lost my wallet, and I didn't cry though. I went into like fix mode. Yeah, I've cried twice on the streets of New York, hysterically crying, but it's a badge of honor. And I feel like, hey, I'm like making it in one of the hardest cities in the world. And I think that the phrase like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, rings true. When I lived in Connecticut, I definitely cried in the car once. I like went out from my job. I had like something was going on, and I went out into my car and I cried. I bawled my eyes out in my car, and then I went back into the office. I was like, I'm fine. So I think the like equivalent is like crying in your car in not the city. Let me know in the comments below if you agree that the equivalent of crying in the streets of New York is crying in your car. I really did. I broke down hysterically crying after jury duty because I had to go back. And thankfully I went back, and the next day they released me within like 2 hours. I got to go back to work. I could finish my project. The freak out was done. I'm very glad to be relieved of jury duty for the next, I think it's 4 years. Praise Jesus, praise Kanye, praise everyone. Like, thank God I'm free. So that is my little food for thought. So that brings me to the guest portion of our program, which I am your guest. Because I'm the guest for the show this evening, and I don't really talk about me as much on this show as I do, like I'll tell funny stories, but I guess I want to give a little bit of background. So, hi, I am Ellyn with a Y. My mom chose to spell my name with a Y because her middle name is Ellyn, and it's spelled with an E, and she just wanted my name to be a little bit different and a little bit fun. So thank you, Mom, for giving me my calling card, essentially. I was born in September. I am a cusper, which means I am a Virgo and a Libra, depending on what book, like horoscopes book you check. I am obviously very theatrical, interested in performing. That's why I have now put myself in front of the camera to do the show. In high school, I loved to do like musical theater, and I had like a vocal coach, and my parents were pretty supportive of that. And then I went away to college, got a like advertising and business degree, and I started working at Lego when I was living in Connecticut. And then I moved down to New York. Funny enough, I was visiting my parents in New Jersey. I got my hair cut this short, and I went to the nail salon, and I was hanging out with my mom, getting my nails done with my sister, and I was at the drying station, and I met this woman, and we just started talking about work and life in New York and New Jersey and all these things. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "Send me your resume. I think I have a job for you." And 3 weeks later, I had given my notice at my job in Connecticut, and I had broken my lease, and I was living back at my parents' house, commuting into New York, working for Style.com at Condé Nast, which then subsequently became a job at Vogue. And I wound up at Vogue for a while, and that was really fun and a great experience. And then about 3 years ago, I started working at Refinery 29. I would say working for Refinery 29, reading the kind of female empowerment content that we have, and charging people to expand their horizons and think differently, be more empathetic. I definitely think that I have evolved. I've grown the most as a woman working at Refinery, and I've been put in front of the camera, and I've had opportunities I never thought I would have in my life from a content perspective, and I have been very grateful for the experience at Refinery, and I've done a lot of different videos for them. This haircut actually was a video for Refinery. I let them know I was looking to cut my very long hair off. They let me know that we could make a video, so I will actually be in a video for Refinery in the next couple of months called Hear Me Out, so I will let you know when that video comes out. I am really grateful for the experience I've had at Refinery. It's really, I feel like, built me up, and I've grown a lot as a woman at Refinery, and so now I am in front of the camera doing this and having a really good time, and I really appreciate everyone that watches this and supports this show. I would say something I used to say when I was in college, because I feel like I've gone back and forth with confidence and feeling myself, as Beyonce would say, and not feeling confident. And I think that I talk a lot about with my friends that sometimes we have to pay with our youth for the lessons that we need to grow into the people that we're going to be. And I feel very grateful for everything I've learned that's gotten me to the point that I am in my life right now. I feel as though I am kind of coming into like a new chapter in my life and a new sense of self-confidence and self-esteem that I didn't always have before. Or what I would do is like fake it till you make it. And I would just like pretend I was confident until I felt confident. And I don't feel I have to like pretend anymore. I feel a lot more confident, not only in my work ability at my like 9 to 5 at my job, but also just in myself as a person. So I think that that's an interesting lesson that I feel like I'm learning as I'm growing up. I don't think that we ever stop growing or learning. And I think that that's something I'm really grateful for. And I hope that I can impart this kind of experience and share what I know, because we're all just trying and learning. I think the biggest lesson is we all realize that nobody knows what they're doing in life. Everyone just has different experience and different like data that they've collected over the years to help inform the decisions that they make in their life. And I think that once you realize that and you realize that everyone's just doing the absolute best that they can, I try to default to positive, that everyone is just doing the best that they can, because the alternative to think that people are just inherently negative is sad. So everyone's doing the best they can, and people only do what they really want to do. And if you kind of operate in that reality, it just kind of helps you move through life a little bit. I definitely have nothing figured out as I'm saying this. I'm just saying I think I'm coming into a new like moment of understanding in my own life. So I want to continue doing this show, and if you want to continue seeing it, let me know, comment to me. I have a couple of questions for them in my Instagram stories. If you could, what would be the one question you would ask Kanye? I feel like I'd want to get him going and really talking. So I feel like I would ask him, when the aliens come, what would you recommend is our best form of communication or contact? Another question I got is, what's your middle name? My middle name is Rose. That's a family tradition on my dad's side. A lot of us have the middle name Rose. Rose, Rosalie, Rosemary, but Rose. What's another one? Who cut your hair? I'm very fortunate to have had my hair cut by a celebrity hairstylist, Justine Marjan. Absolutely go check out her Instagram account. She's cut hair for Carly Kloss, Ashley Graham, Olivia Culpo, Ashley Tisdale. She was really, really, really nice. And I actually follow her on Instagram now, and she posts a lot of really like thoughtful Instagram stories about things that we should be concerned about in our society, like the environment and like the Flint water crisis, and it's like things to think about. That's my big thing. Like, we need to be taking in information from all different places so that we are thinking about things and evolving our points of view. I think I've said on the show before, I think having a healthy dialogue and having a healthy discourse is important. And if we can do that respectfully, I love being able to see something from somebody else's point of view. Another question is, if you could be any Game of Thrones character, who would you be and how would you die? Ooh, I've been thinking a lot about being a normal townsperson on Game of Thrones. Like, while all of this mishigas is going on, there's actually people like living their real lives. I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, what are those people and what's their experience? I wish there was like a Downton Abbey vibe to Game of Thrones, where it's like all the high level people who are making the decisions and like actually changing the world, but then you'd get to go like meet people who are like living in Flea Bottom or like living in the actual town of Winterfell. So I don't know, maybe be a real person, not just like a lord or a lady. But if I had to be a lord or a lady, everyone has had it so hard. There's no one who hasn't had it hard. I don't know, maybe Miss Sandy. I don't know, her and Grey Worm are like actually in love, which is cute. Who do you admire, non-famous person? The first name that pops into my mind, I have a really good friend that I made in college. Her name is Aja Wilson, or Aja Moye now. She's married. And I really admire her because she is consistent in how she carries herself in life and how she maintains a spiritual relationship in her life, her relationship with her husband, and she's an incredible singer. traveled the world singing, is somebody who is honest and caring and like genuine. And I think that a big part of our friendship is I just am so in awe of how she carries herself in her life. She's someone I really look up to, and she's like one of my best friends. So that is that's somebody I admire. But I feel like I keep a lot of people around me who are super inspiring to me. So I think I'm really grateful for everybody that's in my life. Okay, another question is, did I watch Coachella? Through a pinhole, Mr. Kanye West. I watched some of the performance because I got really annoyed that it was through a pinhole. It was really hard to see. I watched some of the Tame Impala show. So good. I just started listening to Tame Impala. If you like Tame Impala, please let me know because I need friends who listen to him as well. What's your favorite nail polish color? Linkin Park After Dark by OPI. I really just love the color. It's nice and dark. It's like, oh, don't look at my chipped nails, but I just love it. It is my go-to. And then I love a good white in the summer when I'm tan. Oh, there's actually a kind of funny one. So this is a good game. So everyone watching, you can play along. This one is a funky, fun game brought to us by Laura Delorado. She was on the 3rd episode of the show. So here we go. Here's the fun game we can all play together. Would you rather go out in public topless or bottomless? I would be more comfortable, I think, going out in public topless. I think that for me doesn't seem as exposed. I don't feel as exposed. Yeah, I would just say topless. I would need pants. I need something. I just would feel really uncomfortable. You know how I feel about inside clothes, outside clothes, dogs with shoes on the streets? Like, I would have to have some form of a pant on. I have to. Something to cover my bottom. I would choose to go topless, I guess, instead of bottomless. I will move on to my favorite part of the show, which is the part where I talk about Noah Centineo. So Noah Centineo, I give an update every week. I'm not dragging him, but he's been posting every day the fruit he's been eating on his Instagram stories. And I think his fruit combinations are a little bit strange. He's been eating grapes and raspberries together. I don't often find grapes and raspberries together. So he's either getting a really jacked up fruit salad or he's making it himself and he's putting together fruits that I wouldn't typically put together. I don't know. Noah, I would love to have you on the show just so we could talk about things, talk about spirituality. I think that you have a very interesting take on life and the way to treat people and the way to move through life. So obviously we should be married, but other than that, I think your choice of fruits is kind of funky. So that is the Noah Centineo news. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in for the 10th episode of Ellyn with a Y Goes Live Tuesdays at 10. Our special 10th anniversary episode. Well, I guess it's not an anniversary. 10th week-versary. If you guys liked this version of the show, let me know. I will maybe do this every once in a while. If you are watching this and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you guys get a notification about when new videos go up. Comment, like, share with friends and family. I have really been enjoying doing this. I've been enjoying editing the videos and kind of flexing that new muscle. It's been fun. I really enjoy it. I'm having a really good time and I really appreciate everybody watching. And let me know how you feel about the show. Comment and share this. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is really special to me and I really appreciate everyone who's watching. So that is the show. I will see you guys again next week on Tuesdays at 10. Bye. Thanks for watching. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. To subscribe to my YouTube channel, click here, and to watch more videos, click here. Bye!